Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning, and today's video is a special video for one of my customers who ordered some WoodUbend from me, and these are broken WoodUbends that I sell on my on my website. And I wanted to show you the look that you can get when you are using broken WoodUbend to cover any surface. This case, it's a small bottle that I covered, but you could do it on a small butterfly, a bird, MDF, wood. I have a bunny, an Easter egg, a chickie, a carrot. You could do it on these surfaces, or you can do it on metal surfaces or glass like this. So she's having problems figuring out how to do it. Although she did say that she had watched some videos on WoodUbend. So I'm doing this just for her because I wanted to make sure that her project is successful. And if any of you have products that you don't know how to use, please don't hesitate to reach out. It's really important that you don't waste them, and if you need help, then just ask for it. Now you don't have to do what I'm doing now, which is painting the base color. I'm painting just a coat of paint. I happen to have black here. You don't have to. You could go right over the wood, but I prefer to seal my wood first, or whatever surface I'm using. So let's just add this. Then I'm going to dry it, obviously. I'm also going to do the edges, seeing that I have leftover paint. I'll do as much as I can. And I'm probably going to need a thinner brush to get on the inside of this. But I'm still going to just continue what I'm doing as long as I have paint. Don't want to waste it. Now there's other things that I've used this method on, and I'll take a picture and include it probably at the end of the video. So you can see what there is nothing that you can't cover with WoodUbend. And this is going to be a very basic video on this amazing product. Okay, so I will dry it, and I typically use this heated tool or a heat gun. You can use a hairdryer, and we will try and do that. But it will be slower, I have to tell you, with the hairdryer. Let me move these out of the way as well, so that we can make room and not feel closed in. Now when you get your bag, you can just pick up you can design it first if you want. You can plan it out, in other words. I usually don't. I just start with whatever looks good and try and make it fit. The one thing that I think I forgot to get is a knife, and I'll show you why I need that. And you're going to need some scissors, some sandpaper, your glue, and I'm using Titebond Quick and Thick. Any good wood glue is fine. And as I said, you can use the heated tool, a heat gun, a hairdryer. Also, the other thing is, if you have a very, very thick piece of wood, you can use a WoodUbend rather. You can also use the waffle maker. What is it called? It's a waffle maker. It's the thing that it's flat, has electricity going in, and you can control the temperature when you plug it in. I'll try and remember the name. I do have a terrible see, I can't even find my words. I have, unfortunately, I find my words hard to come by, but I'll do my best. So I'm going to pour some of the Titebond wood glue in here. And I should have turned this upside down. I didn't. And now the WoodUbend that you'll get from me, and she was saying she didn't know how to figure out, oops, that wasn't supposed to happen, that a lot of them were rounded. And yes, you will find rounded pieces. Because these are the pieces from the trims, and they come in a coil. And so we're going to start off with one of these. Now, some of them may be painted, some may not. They're typically whatever leftovers. Just removing the excess from here, because we don't need it where it is. Now, if your wood glue is very, very thick, like mine is, I'm coming to the end of my bottle, you can just add a little bit of water and stir it up. I'm going to turn I've put my glue in a cup to turn it upside down. I'm going to stir this. You don't have to do a plastic cup. You could do a paper plate, a plastic plate. But I kind of prefer this because if I have any left over, any glue left over, you can cover it and reuse it. Okay, so let's start off with this first piece. This is a round piece. This is a piece of trim. And I'm just going to heat it up. Now, I've also found that if you place your WoodUbend to heat it up on a piece of metal, Because the metal is a good conductor, it will heat up faster. And you don't have to use the WoodUbend the size that you get. You can break it. So as you can see, I'm heating it up to straighten it. When it's hot enough, when it's warm enough, depending on the thickness of the WoodUbend, you can bend it into most shapes. And that's something you can't do with wood. WoodUbend is a product, a byproduct of wood. There is wood in there. If you use a heat gun, by the way, it will be hotter. It'll warm up faster. Let's see how you can bend this. And I'm going to start adding it to my carrot. And I'm thinking maybe right around here. I could bend it a little bit right here. And maybe I'll do that. Now, what you can apply the glue either directly to your piece of WoodUbend, but make sure everything is covered, or you can place it on your surface. And this, I'm only talking about surfaces right now that are completely going to be covered with the WoodUbend. So I've placed it on, but you need to also apply heat, because this is not, putting the glue on is not enough. Just going to heat here so that I can turn it. Now you can paint the WoodUbend before you apply it, or you can paint it afterwards. I'm going to do mine afterwards. But if I'm doing it on a piece of furniture, or if I'm doing it on something specific, like a trim, I prefer doing it the other way. Did I say that right? Let me repeat. If you're doing it on a piece like this, I would wait to cover the whole thing before I paint it. But if you're doing just a piece of trim on an object, then you don't need to do that. You could paint first and then apply. There's no rules with WoodUbend. Also, I should mention that if you place your WoodUbend in a place you don't want it, and it's been dried and cold, now this is still hot, by the way, you can remove it with your heat tool. So right now, our WoodUbend is, sorry, I'm just adjusting my camera just a little bit. Second. I thought I had my second camera on, but I did not. So let me just put it on. Okay. I'm seeing. Okay. So you can see I have a little bit of extra WoodUbend floating over the top, and I'll show you how to deal with that in a bit. Now, if you happen to get, let's try here. This is a big piece, and I want to try and use some of it, like the curves. I'll heat it up. This is a piece that was used and removed. So I'm just going to show you, but I need to find my knife first. Now you can break the WoodUbend. Let me just show you. In its cold state, this is how it will break. So you need to be careful and not do this intentionally. If you do it intentionally, that's fine. But if that wasn't how you planned it, I'll show you in another video how you can fix it as well. Because there are ways to fix broken WoodUbend, and that's the beauty of it. I'm just taking out pieces that have curves in them so that we can work on these. I can't find one here. I'm going to have to look. See how it's bending? Now you can cut it with a pair of scissors when it's hot. And let me just get a pair, a cutting knife, because I can't find the one I usually have. Sorry, I thought I had everything ready, but as usual, I've forgotten something. Okay, let's see what. Well, it's gotten cold, too cold for me to bend, to cut right now. So let me heat it up and show you how you can cut right here. Because I want to separate those two pieces. I don't have to use this as a whole. And then with just a regular knife, we're getting ready for a winter storm here. And they're saying, oh, this is where you need your sandpaper. And I would sand this down just for a finished edge. I would also sand down here. And there was another place that I wanted to sand down. Oh, right here. I'm just removing some of the paint. And see how I've got this thing sticking out? This is what I will do too. It just makes the whole finish a lot neater. Okay, so now we have a few pieces. We'll do this one in a bit. So right here, let me see where this one, the curved ones, you can choose how you want to do them. Now, you may want, if you see this, we've kind of fitted it in right here, and it will work like this. Or you could do it so that it fits like this. And the decision you have to make then is, do you trim the inside? In other words, this part, let me just get a pen. This part here, or you could leave it. For right now, until I finish, I'm going to leave them. And by the way, I don't usually jump from one place to another, but I wanted to show you some tips. And for this particular project, when you're filling the whole area, it does not matter if you get glue here. But if you were working on a small project where you didn't want any of the glue to show up, you can easily clean it before you heat it. And let me show you how. Get a piece of paper towel or a paintbrush, for example. And you can remove it with a paper towel. Now, if you chose not to use a paper towel, you can use a wet paintbrush and do this instead. I still tend to go over it with a paper towel. Now, when you're pushing it down, when you're putting it on and pushing it down, you will probably get, if you've got good adherence to the wood, you might get some leakage, like here. I would clean this up if I was doing it on a project. Or use the brush. Let's make sure this one is properly adhered. Yep, I'm still getting some glue showing up, which means I have really good adhesion. Now we'll continue working with this. You could do this here. Let's heat up this one and put it here, or we could put it, yeah, let's do here. Actually, let's do it here. I'm going to heat it up again. Again, it's bendy. And I'm applying more glue. I moved glue to the glue to the side. I have a habit of dropping, so I'm trying to be a bit more neat. See what I mean about dropping? It's really like a jigsaw puzzle. for me at least. Heat it up, push it down, keep your fingers down. And how long, if people ask, how long does the WoodUbend take to heat up and cool down? It takes, depending on the thickness of the WoodUbend, that's number one. Like this piece will not take long, but it will also cool down very, very quickly. Let's put that down here. And this piece right here, which is very thick, will take longer. Now, it takes as long for it to heat up as it does to cool down. And by the way, these are typically sold as sheets. And I love cutting out, like I cut out a heart and did the WoodUbend on top of it. You can cut out any shape. You cannot imprint in it. In other words, if you try and put more than a dot, even that, it's just the color of the pen, not, there's no imprint. So you can't use these like you would, say, molds. They're not, you cannot make molds out of these. Let's see. So this one is down. Let's try and fill here. And I'm just going to heat up this bit. I just love peeling paint. Okay, this is heated up. Let's see. I'm going to cut it right here. And I'll sand later. But I want to see how much I can fit in here. I want to try and fit this in like this. And we can cut it later, as I said. And sand it later. And now I'm going to apply just use, by the way, any old brush that you have. And we'll clean up the glue. And as you can see, we have a little bit sticking out. That's the part that we need to decide whether we're going to leave like this or we're going to shave it off. Now this one moved a little bit. Let me heat it up and see if I can move it back up. If not, spaces like this I wouldn't normally bother filling in, because by the time you paint it, you can't tell. And I'm looking at this. I might use some of this here. Okay, I'm heating it up. I'm going to hold it down till it cools down so that it will stay there. Still warm. Now, if you don't have enough rounds like this, what you can do is get a piece like just a regular piece like this and heat it up, put it on here, and then you would cut it down if you wanted. You would cut down around here if you wanted. I would, but it's up to you. This one moved back up, which is good. Let's just see how much of this we can fit in, or if I'm going to have to shave some off. Let's wait on filling in right now. Now, typically, if you find a piece like this, I would save that and say place it in the middle. Let's see here, this one won't work. So you just go through all of your pieces, and no two bags are the same. Okay, I want to cut it right here. Let's see how that works. See, this is a broken one. So I don't sell these when I get them broken like this. I put them in the pile, in the broken pile. It could be repaired, I know, but I don't like selling broken pieces to anyone. Let's see how this works here. I'm going to try and fit it in here. So let me heat it up again. And if you get to pieces like this, for example, you could also put them in, but you don't have to put anything inside to fill them up. We'll try and put this one here. Now you can put something inside if you want, but you don't have to, because as you can see in the bottle, there's areas of ins and outs, flat parts, which are tiny. It's hard to tell once it's painted. Oh, I was doing this one. See how again, more WoodUbend. more glue, I mean. I'm going to push it down and see how the glue is seeping out. Now for the rest of the project, I probably will not clean up these edges. But I'm going to keep my finger on it until it becomes just barely warm. And then before I go any further and do this one, let me show you this one. If you get a piece, if you're lucky enough to get a piece like this, save it. Because this can be used, and I'll show you how, as a trim for another project. This is how we get our trims. They're all coiled like this. But it's beginning to heat up. And you can start uncoiling it. Take out what you want. See? I've stretched it out. And if you leave it like this, this is the shape it will remain in. And you cut out what you want. But the reason I said leave this like this once, because you can use it on any surface. You can use it on here. It would be one long piece. So if you're lucky enough to get a piece like this, and not everyone will, I would save these. So I'm going to save this one. And just keep it coiled because that's how it retains the heat best. And store it like this. I'm going to keep it like this. I'm going to move it out of the way. And we're going to work with this one next. Now, I'm going to use my hairdryer. It is a thicker piece, so it will be more challenging than the normal. Let me just get my hairdryer out. And if you're just starting out, I would start with a less complex shape than this till you get used to it. Okay, so this is pretty thick, as you can see. And if you have that piece that goes on here for direct heat, I would use it. I don't have mine, so I'm just going to use this. check it out. See, now it's bendable. I'm going to add some glue. Actually, let me show you. I'm just going to apply it here. And remove the excess from here. Now you can leave it without adding anything to the center. Or I found this, and I could put this in, or let me see what else I can put in. I can put this in and then add this. Let's see. Or I could, let me see if there's anything that fits better. You just have to go through all your pieces and see what there is. And I'm going through mine. This is another one I just picked out that I might want to use. But let's just put, this one really is so small that I can just trim and make it like a circle, because what I'm cutting off is very, very thin. Let's put that in, make it look like an eye. And we're going to use the heat gun, the hairdryer again. I'm just going to clean up. The reason I don't like hairdryers is they make things fly away. Plus, they're not really hot enough. But it works. Should have brought a glass of water or some water to just remove. And as I said, on these projects, you don't have to do what I'm doing right now, but it's good training if you plan to use the WoodUbend on a regular project. Let's see, for here, I might use this one. Let's do that, heat it up. And I'm just going to go back to my heat tool because it is easier and faster. Typically when I start seeing it bend, that's when I'll add the glue. Now I'm going to leave it like this. I like the fact that these 2 points touch, and because it's the top of the carrot, it happens to be a carrot, what I'm going to do is leave it. I'm not going to shave these because I kind of like them. Now there are some places where, like this, see this? That looks pretty uneven. I am going to just sand it down so that it looks more and this is from Dollar Tree, by the way, so it's an inexpensive fun craft. See what other pieces we have. I'd like to do something here, maybe with this, or let's see. This is a full piece again. This one I also recommend. This person, whoever was going to get this, was very lucky to get so many full pieces. I would not use this here. I would save it for a full project between this and this. Now, not all of the bags will be like that. It just so happens. This one might work. No, it doesn't. Let's see. This one could work here. And then we just need a piece here. And I'm doing this part first, as I said, because that's probably that's probably the hardest. It's got the most shape. If we do this, then we just need here a little bit. Okay, let's see if I can get something small. I'm just shaving off a little bit just so that I can I'm just cutting off, well, what I'm trying to do is shape this. Yep, this will work. So we'll do this. It's still hot. And if it's still hot, you really don't need to heat it back up. I want to fill in this. Let me see. Yeah, that should work. These are a bit too thick to fit in, and I don't want to shave them and lose their shape. So I'm trying to fit this in here, so I'm going to cut it here. And I'm going to sand it down. Although it's best to wait to sand down until they get cold, it's easier. And heat it up again. Oh, and we have a piece here we need to fill in. Let me see. We haven't done this one. How did we have this set up like this? Let me just clean my brush. Now, another thing, I don't throw out these pieces, because you can always fit one in here, for example, if you wanted. Let's do it. You don't have to, you can leave it blank, but there's this one, and there was another one. What did I do with that? That I cut out. Let's put this one. We can put it here, standing up. As I said, my brush is very big. So just to fill in the gaps. You don't have to, but I kind of like it. There's a tiny, tiny piece that must have broken off somewhere. See this bit? We could use that. Let's see where. I don't want to cut it up, but we could. So that's another piece I want to use. Okay, so now I want to put in this keyhole. Let's find the best place for it. Maybe here. Yep. Let's heat it up. This one is a broken keyhole. There's something missing here. Oh, there's this one that we can use as well. You don't have to use those. I just think that the more you can fill it with texture, the better. I think I had it this way. This one and this one. Let's see. This one would look good maybe here. This might look good here, but I'd have to cut some. Look at how pliable this is. Now I could put, if I use this here, so that I would cut this right around here. And I could place this one. I might cut this one in two, actually. Yeah, let's cut it in two. And put it here. We'll fix it. I'm going to put this one here because I don't think I kind of like it. Let's put this one here. Should I do this one? Yeah, I think I'm going to do a flatter piece. Maybe this one. Whilst I'm heating up one, I'm usually looking for another piece to work on. This is another one we can use. Let's do this. This is a bicycle chain. I love watching it go down, like it's going down here. Now you can stain these, by the way. Now that piece I was telling you about, this one earlier, what you can do is go around the Easter egg, the Easter egg, the carrot with it if you wanted. see how that's going to fit. It's another piece where I'm just keeping all the small pieces that we've accumulated. There's 3 here. Let's see where we can fit this. Maybe some of this, because I like this texture. I like this texture. Okay, this one looks a bit rough to me, so let me just sand it because I don't like it. Like that. And my brush is a bit too thick, so I'm going to use this. Just be very careful when you're cutting. Actually, let me see if this one will work here. Yeah, this one will work better here. Let's put this one also here. I'm just filling in so we don't waste anything. see this one will work here. So don't throw anything away. Even these tiny pieces. No, and I just want to find, if we find something small for here, that would be good. Now I'm going to add this one here. And right here. Let's see if this one will work here. Yep. Okay, it was too big for here, but we were able to put another one here, and I have a small one. I have a tiny one here I want to fill in. Now, obviously, you don't have to fill in the way I'm filling in. You could leave areas blank. Let's see if we can get an angle somewhere. Too big. Let's see here. I'm not sure. When I'm not sure, I don't do anything. Sorry, I'm not talking much, but I'm just trying to concentrate. Let's put this one here. I was going to stop the filming and just continue by myself, but then I thought it might be nice for you to actually see the whole process. I know that I would like to. And I'm just going to cut right here. I wonder if this, I'll just add a little bit more. That would fit in a corner. I mean, at an angle. How about we use a piece of this? Because I like the texture on this, let's heat it up. We've just got this and this left to do, and then I'll paint it all in black, and or it could be white, but probably black, knowing me. Once I finish this, I'll clean up here and come back and see where we're going. Yep. We can cut it at an angle. It becomes too hot when there's small pieces like this to hold on to, so it's just easier to just do this. Is there anywhere we can use this? Yep, here. We can do that. And we have a tiny, tiny piece here. Let me... I don't want to cut... maybe this one. And I didn't heat with such a tiny piece. And there's this one. Do I want to use it anywhere? No, I'm not. That's it. Now this is moved slightly, so I'm going to move it back. Just like we moved up here, this one. Hopefully I didn't overglow it. And I still have plenty for at least 2 other projects. I'll move it as much as I can. And wait till it cools down. And I'll come back and we'll paint it black. After I clean up, I'll be right back. What is wrong with it? Okay, so one of the things I promised I would show you is how to trim these parts off. On the stem of the carrot, I am going to leave them, and I'll probably paint them, because I do like the fact that the edges are organic. So let me show you. I warmed this up, as you just saw, and this is what you would do. Very gently with a knife, just like that. Just shave it off and then sand it down. Now we just need to paint this. And I'm just going to put paint all over. We have a storm coming and we just got notification that more than likely we'll lose power. So I want to finish this and upload it so that you can all watch it. Hope I didn't put too much, but it looks like I did. Once it dries, I'll come back and highlight it. You can paint any color you want. You could do white and gold. You could do cream and patina it with brown. I'll come back when I finish this. Okay, so I just want to show you how I would finish my project. This is the carrot all painted. It's dry. I forgot to mention that you can use chalk paint, acrylic paint, mineral paint, any type of paint over this. Oops, and look what I just did. I just spilt my pigment. I told you I was messy. Anyway, this is how I use my Posh Chalk pigment. I just put a little bit in there, and this is also available on my website. And I'm going to add the infuser. But first, I'm just checking to see where my fan brush is. And it comes in a jar, but I like putting it in one of these Dollar Tree containers because it's easier for me to open, and I can add what I need. And not make a mess, but I just did. I'm just going to add a little bit more pigment. And you mix it really well. You want to make sure that there's no powder left. And we're just going to dry brush. This is the way I do it. You can do it whichever way you want. But this is what the pigment comes out as. And when we're dry brushing, we need to take off as much as we can. And just brush the surface and add as much pigment as you want. But see how it completely transforms the project? And it highlights the different textures of the WoodUbend. Right. You can do the edges as well. And I plan to paint this anyway, another color. Oops, see, I added too much. In my opinion, it was too much. And if that's the case, what you can do is wait till it dries. Repaint it. And then reapply your pigment. The pigment will last about a week. You'll need to stir it up when you open it. So nothing is wasted. But you know what? I'm going to keep it. I actually do like it heavier. So I'm just going to go over it. And I really love doing this because you never know what you're going to come up with. So I hope you've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed this, please, if you haven't subscribed, I'd appreciate if you did. Also, if you could just make comments. I'm trying to grow my channel. And this would help me out a lot. Make sure you close your jar. And actually, I just found some that I made well over a week ago, and this is gold. One of the golds. I think it's lemon gold. And I'm going to add a little bit more on here. You just saw I stirred it up. And any areas that you feel that are too bright, you can turn them down by repainting. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you again, hopefully on Tuesday. Take care, everyone. Bye.